Hello, hello, hello! Welcome to Inner Conquest, the world's greatest modern metaphysics channel. I'm your host, Jacob Edens, and today's topic is storytelling. So, when we look at the three most beneficial processes, in my opinion, that you can do to shift a reality permanently is number one, when you wake up in the morning, make sure that you have some repetitive affirmations because your subconscious is open and susceptible to suggestion. The second process is throughout the day, which is the most important process, which is your mental diet. So when we look at shifting a reality, the only reason that we would shift a reality is because an external reality, either an emotional reality, a third dimensional reality, a person, circumstance, or event is not the way we want it. So we want to shift that, right? So what makes something not wanted? Well, it doesn't feel good. There's a state of consciousness around it that we deem would be better if it played out a certain way because it would feel better, and we feel that our life would be improved if that state of consciousness were shifted, right? So a good example is like an SP not acting the way you want, money not coming in the way you want, you're not performing, like you're playing golf and you're not playing as good as you want to play, whatever, right? You have something that you want to shift, i.e. upgrade in your reality, right? The third aspect of creating your reality, which I'll talk about a little bit later, is SATs, or understanding the visual aspect as you go into the dream world, how you can use that to basically program life to play out a certain way that you want it to play out. But what I'm going to talk about and focus in today is storytelling, and how storytelling is the most important thing you'll ever do in your life. Because when you have a state of consciousness that you're looking to shift, in my opinion, the easiest way to do that is to audit how you are talking and thinking about that circumstance. And it's not sexy, it's not some immediate fix, but it's something that you do all day, every day. And I can guarantee 100% of the time, if there is something in your life that is not playing out the way that you want it to, it's because there's a story with a specific bandwidth of emotional charge that is being reiterated over and over and over again in your mind, in your subconscious, and it is playing out exactly the way that that program is. Because the subconscious and the conscious mind, once you understand how that process works, there's no secrets anymore. It's really just about programming that correctly so that you can get what you want. And then you can also have the metaphysical conversation of, how frequencies and things like that align, which is all good and well. But for the sake of transformation and really getting what you want, you have to understand that the primary issue with you having a reality that's not the way you want it to be, where if you are like, man, this sucks, this is this and this and this and this, that bandwidth of saying this sucks and this and this and this is the causation of that state of consciousness. So you have to understand the way that you perceive it and the way you talk about it and the way you feel about it is the cause of the manifestation, not the other way around. Nothing can piss you off and make you feel da. You are the arbiter of the states within which you enter. Now, if you're unconscious, you don't have control of the states that you enter, so it makes sense that you're going to go into states that you don't want. So the first step is to become aware that the causation of all of the things that are nagging you is because you are in that state of unfulfillment. Once you understand that you're in a state of unfulfillment, no big deal, because a state of unfulfillment creates, through its polarity, the state of fulfillment. And once you become aware, your reward is that you get to enter in that state of fulfillment. So when you have, when I have clients who come in and they say, well, my life is like this, and this, and this, these are my problems, and this, and this, you have to approach that from a mind-numbingly now objective standpoint. You have to read that like a data output, right? So if a machine or a computer is saying this program here, you have to understand that this program has a correlative output, meaning that if this story comes to me without any of my internal biases, judgments, or perceptions layered on that aren't completely objective, if you read what you're saying and what you're thinking, there is a correlative manifestational output in your third dimensional reality, right? So what happens is you get caught up in these stories and these assumptions that have hardened into fact that are unfavorable, and you see them as reality or a fixed reality that cannot be changed, and you build unconsciously a narrative as to why they can't be changed. And all of that building is just your inner being constructing a reality that you focused on and activated, right? So you want to pull back from any type of unwanted story and understand that the story that I'm telling about this thing is creating the thing. I'm not observing this thing and telling a story about it. I'm telling this with my energy, and it's being reflected, and I'm seeing that it's a physicalized reality, and I'm going, look, I knew I felt about this thing this way, and look at the evidence that's been brought up to me. I knew I was right. But in actuality, you're always right. You're always being proved right, because law of attraction is always hitting whatever tonal frequencies you're outputting and feeding you biased manifestational occurrence that is in alignment with however you're outputting that frequency. So when you start to tell a new story, what happens is that old frequency is so easy for you to think when you're not conscious of your thoughts and your emotions and where you're placing your focus. Your mind will slip back into those grooves because there's so many tracks that have been laid on that non-fulfillment reality that it's very easy to unconsciously go into it. So what you want to do is you want to not give a fuck about that reality anymore. You want to say, hey, I created that. Great. That's not me. And then you want to focus 100% of your energy on telling and persisting in that new story as if it were the way you wanted it to be. And you cannot stop until that reality has externalized itself externally. Because if you stop before you've externalized the wanted reality, you have some half-baked birds before landing bullshit that makes you think, well, this kind of works and it kind of doesn't. No, it works every single time. It's just the persistence in that story. And what happens is when you persist in that wanted story until you get what you want every single time, that barrier in your mind that makes it think that it's hard or difficult or, this is a different circumstance, so this might not be possible. All of that bullshit goes away because now you can clearly see the frequency output cause effect relationship between your inner dialogue and how you are internally running the dynamics of your being. So when you start to tell that new story, understand it's easy to fall back into that groove. That old story wants your attention. It wants your awareness. It wants to suck you back into it. Not from a nefarious standpoint. And additionally, on the self-responsibility side of things, you sometimes get addicted to those negative feeling states because they're so natural for you. You identify with them. So if you identify with feeling like things aren't working the way that you want it to, you have to understand that you have to wean yourself off of that like a drug addict and say, I'm not a person who enjoys suffering anymore. I'm not a person who accepts non-fulfillment. I'm not a person who accepts unwanted realities. I'm a person who gets what they want. I get wanted realities. Everything works out perfect for me. I'm the greatest fucking human that's ever lived. My life keeps getting better and better and better. There's no problem that I can't solve. Every problem creates a solution. All I have to do is line up with it. By lining up with it, I put myself in alignment with the solution, and I have the willpower to stay affixed until that manifests externally 100% of the time. Why? Because I'm fucking awesome, right? And you start to build that type of internal stamina to where the old reality doesn't even seem appealing, because what you want by shifting realities is that new state of consciousness anyway. Someone comes and gives you $10 million. What do you really want from the $10 million? Well, you want to not be financially limited, constrained, and or feel like there's not enough. And you want that ability to go and do whatever you want to do. The good news is the conscious state of feeling that way is accessible now. So you can have your cake now. You can have your end result now. And the best part about it is by having your cake now, you actually get the external reality to mold to that favorable state of consciousness, which you thought that the thing would be the access point to, when in actuality you have access to that immediately. So access it immediately. don't give a fuck about any other conscious state that is not fulfillment. Any type of story that is not from the end as if it were happening now the way you want it to be is not useful, in that it contradicts you having what you want now. So just let it go and focus on that new story, and do not accept anything that is less than that new story, because if you do, it's the same type of circumstance where Neville Goddard going to Barbados, he was going to Barbados first class. He got the ticket to Barbados, but it wasn't first class. He was starting to crystallize the thought process that, well, he can kind of have what he wants. And his mentor, Abdullah, comes in there and goes, no, you big idiot. You always get what you want as long as you persist in it. And having that discipline to persist in it until the end crystallizes exactly the way that you want it gives you absolute viability and certainty that the law works 100% of the time, and it eradicates doubt from your mind and allows you to build a reality that is much more to your liking in a way that you previously could not, unless you understand how to apply the law. So guys, keep persisting in that wanted story. Don't give up. Watch a Rocky movie. Don't give a fuck about your old story trying to bring you down. Sit in your power and decide, this is what I think. Everything else that is not in alignment with my end objective, cool, possibility, could happen, doesn't matter. Not going to give my attention to it. This is who I am. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Leave comments for new videos that you want made, and check out the link tree if you want coaching. And more important than anything that I've said today, go conquer. Love you guys. Bye.